Hello guys, and today we are going to be going over some new plans that I plan on doing sometime in the future. I'm sure from my previous videos you've seen that I like tanks. No big deal. But I want a tank. And you can't really go buy a tank very easily. So, I'm going to take some inspiration from fellow people on YouTube, and I'm going to make one. My idea, I have my own tank design that I want to do. I really like engineering, so I'm going to do my own design. And my friend's going to do one too. So I want to show you my design and the mechanism I want to do it, or the mechanism I want it to drive with. And then in the comments, I'd like some maybe help or tips. That would be very nice. So let's get right into it. Well, I think first I'm going to start with drawing the actual tank, how I want it to be. So, one of the things I want is kind of a panther hull. I really like the look of it. Which, this is just a quick drawing of it, not very accurate. So, panther hull. Now, I don't like the tracks as much for it, so it's gonna keep the interlocking ones, but it's not gonna stay the same way for the sprocket and idler. But my first design might just have Sherman tracks, because from what I've seen, they're pretty easy to make. There's your interlocking. And add one more just for drawing's sake. This is not to scale at all right now. Then nice big ol' idler, which that looked terrible. That looked absolutely terrible. Actually, if we draw it to scale, it's here, and these are like this big. They're like way bigger than these. But then a nice sprocket right there. And then there would also be idlers there. And then it just kind of comes around. Like that, kind of. This right here would be the drive sprocket. This would be where you tension it right here. Or right here. There would be a little thing, because you have your back here. There would be a thing like this. And you could tension it with a crank. That you'd add in this crank and spin it, and it would pull the wheel this way so that it would tighten the track. But for the most part, that's the hull. This might turn into a rounded more, like this. Easier to put a sprocket in there. Now, I really like, I've put so many different turrets on this, but I'm either going to design my own in the future, or I'm going to put Churchill turret on it, a Churchill 1. So that, from the side, looks kind of like this, and then there's a bevel here. I'll draw a top part. And then the mantlet would normally be like this, inside. Your mantlet would be here, kinda. But that's not what I'd do. But on the top of it, the Churchill turret looks kinda like this. Not that badly, though. That looked really bad. And then this bevel's down here. but that looks terrible, but just general idea. Then do an outer mantlet. If I have one I do like, it's like this. And then it comes in as like, that's like an outside casing. And then you have this, and then you have your gun. That would be my mantlet. So this is what it's looking kinda like right now. This isn't like the main, it would look better, of course. Get your exhaust, kinda. And this angle would probably be more like this than it is. Stuff like that, it's not two sides. The track would be up here more. There would be a fender. The wall here is flat, and it would be a fender with like ammo cases on it and stuff. Now, this is just what it looks like. That's not the actual design, or the drive setup. Now let's do the actual drive setup. So, we'll just do a flat base for now. That was a terrible flat line. So, you start with your engine. Okay, this is going to need to be extended, but you start with your engine. You put a thing on it. It's going side to side. So the output is on the side. And now you make a mounted bar that runs. Here, I'll do a top view too. A mounted bar that runs across the entire thing. Now, on the engine, you have a gear, and on the bar, you have a gear. Now, this gets connected together. Now, as this, and it connects with a chain. Now, as this engine runs, this bar runs. So, now this bar is always spinning with the engine. Always. Eventually I'll put a torque converter here. And then you have like gear ratios kinda. But that's like future stuff. So now, this is gonna have tracks. It's not gonna be something weird. So you need to split it. So you put a pulley gear, or like one of those ones that are flat, but I don't know the technical terms, but you put two of them. Okay? Now you put two up here with the sprocket. Here is the sprocket that drives the track. So now you have those. But these are actually double pulleys. I forgot to mention that. These are the double ones. That are like stacked, or you just add two pulleys next to each other. And then you have two belts, which I'll show you how they are better on the bottom picture, but let me finish this first. Then you have two belts. One belt, well, they're never tight. The only time they're tight is when you make them tight. But other than that, they're always slipping. So when you don't have them put tension on, it's a neutral. So you have your double belts. So let's draw it down here now. You have your sprocket. Now, there's a belt that comes around all the way. That was a terrible look. Like that. Now, it's spinning, but up here and up here, it's slipping so that the track would not move. Now then you take a little idler and put pressure on the belt, pulling it down, which makes it tight. It would look kind of like this almost, which would make it tight, which connects it, and then it drives forwards. Now, the other one, I need to draw a third row here. So that's your thing. Engine, we're not gonna, I guess we'll draw the engine. Now the other one is a little bit trickier though. So this is forwards. Now you need reverse. And to do reverse, you have another belt, but it goes in a figure 8. Like that. So when this one's going like this one's going like this. So when this one goes clockwise, this one goes counterclockwise. Which, we'll figure that out later, but generally speaking. And then you have another idler somewhere pulling tension down. So you have, and then now you have these stacked on top of each other like this, next to each other. So then you have your idler here and idler here maybe. And then you have a lever. And then that would be on both sides. So you have a lever. And then you sit like right here, we'll say. Like that. So now you have your two levers that are somehow connected to the idlers that put tension on the belt to make it drive. Now, I don't know if I want to do like a lever here for forwards that you pull back to engage, and a lever here that you pull up for reverse, but I don't know that yet. Or if you want to pull back for forwards and forwards for backwards yet, something like that. Or foot pedals for backwards or something. But I do know I want a throttle pedal like here, and then maybe brakes depending on how it is. And then for brakes you'd have a third bar or another extended part of the bar with a brake and just a disc brake that clamps, that goes to the brake on both sides. So for the most part, that's it. Then you have, like I said, your foot throttle that can run to the engine somehow. And that would all be inside of this. So you have your engine like here, going through this, going to here, going to your belts like this. And you sit in between the belts, kinda. That's a terrible drawn stick figure, but that's, like said, not accurate. But you sit like right here in between the belts. And of course there would be a housing holding that so you don't actually see it and stuff. And so that if something would fly off and break, you wouldn't get hit for the most part. So that's my like transmission drive system kind of thing. Now the track itself is going to be just like two of your like rubber conveyor belt kind of things like this, with a board, either a board or a piece of metal screwed on like that, and then another one, and another one, and another one, and you get the idea. And then probably the sprocket would fit through this and this, which the sprocket would look like that a gear, a little inlet section, that a gear, into the transmission with your forwards, reverse, brake, kinda. Just, I don't know how to design the sprocket yet. It's a little tricky. I don't know if I'm gonna cut it out wood, I may get it like something at some specific place, which I have seen done, but I don't know yet. Suggestions would be very nice. maybe wood and then reinforced with steel or something. But for the most part, that is the general idea. I think before I design or start actually building the frame, the wood frame of the tank, I think I'm gonna get this transmission engine setup done first on its own wood frame, and then when I want to start building the tank, I just build it off of that wood frame, so I'd extend it or something. And then the idler would be right there or something. Then you can have your track like this with your bars. That's just a very simple kind of layout of it. I'll try drawing better blueprints and I'll post it on the community thing, because for some reason that's open to everyone now. But so that's my tank design idea. If you have any helpful tips, that would be lovely. And expect more from this in the not near future, but not far distance, maybe within the next year. Me and my friend are already working on a little tank, but it's pretty much a glorified go-kart. We've broken the axle on it right now, but videos of it are soon to come. Once we get finished, we will show you guys it, but it's nothing special. It's just a go-kart pretty much. So bye guys. Any suggestions, please leave them. Happy tanking.